Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dost. Welcome back to my channel, Biblical Languages and Literature. Today we're going to be beginning a new series, Learn Modern Hebrew from the New Testament. And the goal of this series is really just, for those who are already New Testament readers, but who might be students of Biblical Hebrew. This can be a great way to, build up one's Hebrew skills, but also see the difference between classical Hebrew, the Hebrew of, the Hebrew Scriptures or the Old Testament, whatever you call it, and the Hebrew that's spoken in Israel today. I have other videos on my channel that teach the Hebrew alphabet and basic reading skills in Hebrew. This series presupposes that you already have a working knowledge of Hebrew from a course or two at least in Biblical Hebrew. So if you have the requisite training, this series is for you. Before we begin, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell below to be notified when I publish additional videos in this series. Be sure to hit the like button, and I would encourage you to share this on social media as well, just to get the word out about this series. I really, really, really appreciate your support. All right, let's get started. So today we're going to look at Mark 1. And before we read the text here, there are different or various New Testaments in modern Hebrew. Some work with a more classical approach to grammar, where they try to bring the classical grammar and the classical verbal system into modern Hebrew. Here, this is just a straight-up modern Israeli translation. And for this reason, it's going to be useful for those who are venturing off into modern Hebrew, like I did. I started, my studies at a Christian seminary where I took a few years of Biblical Hebrew and got pretty strong in that. But then I ended up going to a Jewish institution to do a master's and a doctorate, and I had to achieve advanced level of proficiency in modern Hebrew. And so for me, actually reading the New Testament in modern Hebrew was just a helpful way to develop those skills, because I already kind of knew the text of the New Testament in English and to a good degree in Greek. So by studying it in modern Hebrew, it was very easy for me to understand what was going on while acquiring new vocabulary. Anywho, enough about me. Let's start with Mark 1:1. So the beginning of the gospel of Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. The beginning of the gospel of Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, which in Hebrew can be translated Techilat Besorat Yeshua HaMashiach Ben Elohim. Techilat Besorat Yeshua HaMashiach Ben Elohim. Techilat Besorat Yeshua HaMashiach Ben Elohim. So the first word in Hebrew, you see it there in black, is the word techilat. Now this is a feminine singular construct noun, or if you use traditional modern Hebrew grammar terms, it is a smichut form, smichut. But if you're used to Biblical Hebrew, you would call it a construct form. Either way is fine. Okay, so techilat, which means the beginning of, the beginning of. Okay, the tav at the end of this word is a sign of the feminine singular construct, because when a feminine singular noun is in the absolute form, it often has an ah vowel, a long a vowel, and is marked with a hey vowel letter. And so the absolute form would be tchila. In the construct, tchila becomes tchilat, tchilat. The beginning of. Now we see this form in John 2:11, for instance, where we have Zot Tchilat Ha'otot Shel Yeshua. Zot Tchilat Ha'otot Shel Yeshua. This is the beginning of, Tchilat, the beginning of, Ha'otot, the signs or the miracles, Shel Yeshua, of Jesus. And again, in John 2:11, it's a feminine singular construct. Tchilat. Matthew 6:33, we have the form tchila. Atem bakshu tchila et malchuto. Atem bakshu tchila et malchuto. Atem means you all, but it's followed by the imperative, so it's kind of hard to translate the atem here. That doesn't translate well in English. So we're just going to translate atem bakshu as seek. It's a plural imperative. Seek. Seek first. Here, tchila is functioning adverbially. It doesn't mean beginning so much, but you can see the connection between the concept of the beginning of something and the adverb first, right? So, atem bakshu tchila, seek first et malchuto, his kingdom, his kingdom. Atem bakshu tchila et malchuto. All right, so back to Mark 1:1, where we have Tchilat B'sorat Yeshua HaMashiach ben Elohim, Tchilat, the beginning of, a feminine singular construct. Now the next word in this text is B'sorat, B'sorat, and you'll notice that it has the same ending, at, and it should come as no surprise that this is also a feminine singular smichut, or a feminine singular construct noun, B'sorat. And it's from the form b'sorah, b'sorah, which means good news. It's used for gospel, right? Because that's what gospel means, good news. So, tchilat b'sorat, the beginning of, the gospel of. Tchilat b'sorat, the beginning of the gospel of. We see the word b'sorat elsewhere, as in Matthew 4:23. B'sorat hamalchut. B'sorat hamalchut, the beginning of the kingdom, the beginning of the kingdom. B'sorat hamalchut. Here again, it's a feminine singular construct. B'sorat ha'elohim, b'sorat ha'elohim, the good news of, or the gospel of God, God's gospel, or the gospel about God. B'sorat ha'elohim. B'sorah shona. B'sorah shona, a different gospel. Here, b'sorah is actually translated as a gospel. There's no word for a or an in Hebrew, what we call the indefinite article, right? So b'sorah can mean gospel, or depending on the context, can mean a gospel. So here it's a gospel, and then the word shona means different or another. B'sorah shona, another gospel, a different gospel. Here, it is a feminine singular absolute form. It's a feminine singular absolute form. That's the unmodified dictionary form of the word. And then in 2 Timothy 1:11, we get b'sorah zot, which is a feminine singular absolute form. B'sorah zot, this gospel. Another way of saying this in Hebrew is ha-b'sorah hazot, ha-b'sorah, ha-zot, the gospel, the this. Okay, but here it's just b'sorah zot, an alternative way to say the same thing. So, Techilat b'sorat, the beginning of the gospel of Yeshua. And this is how the name of Jesus is written, Yeshua. So, Techilat b'sorat Yeshua, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus. And now we have an appositional phrase, not oppositional, but appositional. In other words, a word or a phrase that means the same thing as the previous noun. So what does the text want to tell us? What does the Gospel of Mark want to tell us about this person, Yeshua? That he is HaMashiach, the Messiah. Now, usually in English Bibles, this word is translated as the Christ, but the term Christ is not really a translation. It's a transliteration of the Greek form Christos. Christos, which means anointed one. So Christ is actually not a translation, it's a transliteration. And Messiah, likewise, is really not a translation either, because it also, like the Greek term Christos, means anointed one. So it should be, Jesus the anointed one, but we use the term Messiah because it has come to be understood as one who is anointed and So I don't want to squabble about that. So we'll just go here with Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah. I think it's better to use Messiah than Christ because Messiah is a Jewish term. It's a Jewish concept, and seeing as how the Gospels are in so many ways very, very Jewish, it's in my opinion, it's better to use a Jewish term than a Greek term. But again, I'm not going to squabble about that. So, Techilat Besorat Yeshua HaMashiach, the beginning of the Gospel of Jesus the Messiah. Now, the term Messiah shows up in 117, Ad HaMashiach, until the Messiah, Ad HaMashiach. So Mashiach means Messiah. Ha is the definite article, the Messiah. Ad HaMashiach, until the Messiah. Matthew 1:1 has Yeshua HaMashiach ben David ben Avraham. Jesus the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach ben David, the son of David, ben Avraham, the son of Abraham. And just like in Matthew 1:1 there, Mark 1:1 also has this term ben, which is the construct form, the son of. So Techilat Besorat Yeshua, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus, HaMashiach, the Messiah, ben, the son of, masculine singular construct form, the son of Elohim, God, which is a masculine plural absolute form. That im ending tells us that it's masculine plural. So Mark 1:1 reads, Techilat Besorat Yeshua HaMashiach ben Elohim, the beginning of the gospel or the good news of Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. All right, that's it for today. Please be sure to like the video, and I would appreciate your sharing it on social media. If you're looking for videos on how to read Hebrew, just to get a sense of how to read the alphabet and basic pronunciation, there are some links in this video. If you go back, you can click those. And in addition, I encourage you to check out my other playlists, like Textual Analysis of the Hebrew Bible, which focuses on reading texts from the Hebrew scriptures. I have a series going in Daniel right now that I recently started. I have a lot of videos on Genesis and Isaiah, some on Exodus, and other portions of the Hebrew scriptures as well. And if there's anything you'd like to see me include in these videos, please be sure to put a comment and your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.